So I hear that you need help beating a hard mode of Minesweeper? Well, don't worry. In this video, I will teach you exactly how to do it easily. I will go over how to minesweep properly and which heroes you should use for proper gameplay. So, first thing that you should know is that when you see a number on a tile, it means that the 8 tiles around it have the amount of mines that are shown on the number. For example, if this is a 0, then that means that all of these 3 will be safe tiles. So this one is a 0, so these 2 are safe. This one is 0, so all of these are safe. And so on. And if you see a 1, then that means that one of the tiles has a mine, in which case it has to be this one because all of these ones were already shown as safe spaces due to the 0. So you can put a flag here. And since this already sees that there's a 1 here, you know that this is a safe spot, and this one already sees this one, which means that these are all safe spots. You see that these see 2, but you can clear this open because of the zeros, and this sees that, which means that there must be a mine here, and you can clear that. And you can work this way for quite a while, and it makes sweeping mines really easy. As long as slimes don't set it off like those did. So what heroes should you bring when you play Minesweeper? I recommend that you use Soda Pop for early game, because Soda Pop is really good for splash damage, and it's very cost efficient for 140 mana for forward damage. If you see a tile that has a 3 on it, then that means that there's 3 mines near it, and since we already know that there's one here, you know that 2 of these 3 are mines. So, how can this be helpful? Well, by clearing this, you know that this is a mine, which means that these aren't mines, which means that this is a mine, which means that this is a mine. And just like that, we can also click that these are mines, and there's a 4 here, which tells us that if these 2 are mines, this isn't one. There's 2 here, but there's 1 here, and there's 1 here, which means there's not 1 here, and there's not 1 here, which means that there are 3 here, and not 1 here, not 1 here either, 1 there, not 1 there, and if you're ever confused, then you can always just move on to another area. I don't know who clicked here, but never do this, because it's pretty much like you have no idea if there's a mine here or not, and even if you do, then like how is this supposed to help you? Oh cool, 2 of these are mines, but you're not going to want a mine here, because it could be a mine and you have no idea. So never do this. Instead just go like the safe route and collect all the zeros. Now I also recommend bringing Chef, because Chef can help deal with the goblin and shrooms that eventually start spawning. Because if you don't have a Chef, then your Soda Pops could easily be outnumbered and overwhelmed by the amount of enemies approaching. Oh great, there's a 5 here. If you're ever not sure if a slime will help you out or not, there's a chance that it might actually help, so... and don't do that. Now another tip that could help you out is the flag mode, which you might have seen as I was doing it just now. But if you want to tell a teammate that you think you know where a mine is, then put a flag down, and other teammates will know that you think there's a mine there. Of course, always be suspicious over other people's flags, since you know if someone might mislabel it and put like all of these, and you would have no idea which one is true or not. So don't blindly assume that it is true, but always fact check it and double check that there's a 1 here that can see it or something like that. Now, as you can see, another really useful hero to bring is Haze, because Haze has pretty much global range, actually, and it is very useful in the late game, especially once you have level 3, because these crows will kill anything that will leak from while you're mining, and you won't have to worry about constantly moving chefs or soda pops around. another thing to know is that the boss spawn will always be highlighted in red, which means that you can kind of strategize and remember that enemies will always take the fastest path to the computer unless you mine out a way for them to go. And therefore, if you know that the enemies are spawning here, then you can make a long path that goes around the whole map to stall for time. And this is similar to fencing. In fact, fun fact, these tiles are actually using the same logic that fencing does, and they have 60 health, which can be useful for if you know that an enemy has 3 health like a slime, because it will take, like, I think it's 20 seconds to kill one of these, because 60 divided in 3 is 20. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's how that works. One more thing is that some of these doors, like the wave 30 doors, do not open on easy mode. So make sure that you're paying attention to which ones are spawning, and that the wave 10 doors are open before wave 10 begins. Otherwise, they can totally catch you off guard, step on a mine, and kill you. So beware of that. Another very useful hero to bring is Voka, and the reason why I say Voka and not Quinn is because it only takes up one tile to place, and it has really long range with Balloon Pal. In fact, if you can get a bunch of Vokas in the center, they can cover the entire map. Quinn is also useful, but you have to be careful about its placement range, because it can take up to 9 tiles if you're placing it incorrectly. Same goes with Scientist, because Scientist has a lot less range and takes up more space. Maitake is not recommended for this, as shrooms spawn in the early game, and there are quite a lot of them, so I would recommend Dumpster Child or Chef to counter them, because Chef has 28 damage for 1,110 mana, and 75 for 2,200 more, if you can afford it. Another thing that is very useful to know is that this number shows you how many mines are on the map. Sort of. It takes the total amount of mines and subtracts it by the number of flags that are on the map. So therefore, if you can see it says 196, and if I were to place a flag here, then it goes down to 195. This is different from the one listed on the sticker, as this sticker is not affected by flags and will tell you the total amount of mines on the map, which is 210 on hard mode. It's actually random. It can be between like 210 and 220, but it seems like it's 210 in this game. I think easy is 50 and medium is 100 or something around that. Hard is approximately 200. And therefore, if I were to flag this, it does not affect the sticker, but it does affect the computer to 191, because they're also placing flags over there. Like this. Don't trust other people's flags, because Flame has been a very kind demonstration that shows that these are not correct, because this is a 2 and there are 3 flags here, which would not make sense for a 2 to be seeing 3 mines. So we can calculate that, in fact, you can't actually do anything about this or this, because you would have to be risking the fact that it's 50-50 chance for the mine to be here or here, and you don't know. So the only way to counter this is to go to this side and mine your way over here. You want to be guessing as little as possible, because every time you guess is a higher chance of you dying. And the only person who should be guessing are the enemies themselves, in which case you don't even want them to be guessing, because you want to be clearing a path for them. I don't know who did this. A tip for if you're on mobile. Because mobile, every single time you turn your camera, it clicks. I recommend being on flag mode, so then when you turn your screen, it just places a flag instead of mining that spot. Here's an example of a spot that I will not mine, because I want the enemies to take the longest way possible, which would go all the way around here. And I'm not going to put a flag there, even though I don't want them to mine it, because that would mess with this too and potentially kill us. So you don't want to be doing that, or you could have really angry teammates, which you do not want, especially if you're playing with friends. Alright, here's more proof that the sticker affects how many mines are in the map, and that's... Why did it go down? And if I set up a mine, it goes down to 218. And if I were to put a flag down, this goes to 217, but this doesn't. As it stays at 218. You can kind of use it to your advantage if you need to know how many flags you have or something. I don't really know, but that's just something that you can pay attention to if you want. Now, the boss, Shoop-de-Whoop, I'm sure you've already seen it, but he has this special ability where if there's an enemy, or if there's a hero in its range, then they all die, and that includes summons, like the birds. Yeah, they get destroyed out of the air. So buzzer is not recommended for this, even if you're just trying to use the ability, because the bees will die in the air, and most of the crows that you're trying to use to kill him will die on their way there, and you waste your ability. However, ways to counter this is by spamming a bunch of bait chefs or other heroes that might be useful. Why can you not place here? Hello? And that will increase the odds of Shoop-de-Whoop instead targeting one of the bait chefs instead of your main DPS. Because the hero he targets is completely random, because it hopes that by targeting a random hero, it will be in the area with the most crowded areas. Heroes I do not recommend are Lure, because they have way too little range for this map, because although this is enough range on most maps, on a map like this where enemies are coming at you from all sides, you really want the most range you can possibly get, as in Invokas and Soda Pops for splash damage in early game. Here's what I mean by the enemies will always follow the way that is cut for them, because if you cut like a circle like this, then it literally just becomes facility raid. This map is basically facility raid, except you have to mine your way through the mines instead of building a fence path. In fact, you even have 400 health. Yeah, rip Hot Dog Frank. Yeah, I've seen other strategies in which people tell you to bring Slime King, and you can do that because the slimes will follow the path just like enemies do. It's just that you have to be careful about summoner lag because, real clip.
This map is literally the worst map that they've ever added. There's no lemon. What? What? Go!
Oh, there goes Slime King. Yeah, something you should be careful about when using Slime King. If the king dies, then they will all die. But I will do a test to see if the nukies... Oh, okay, so nukies can get targeted by Shoop-de-Whoop. So if you want to use them as bait, go ahead. Just... if he targets the nuki launcher itself, then you rip. And be aware that it does take up a ton of space, because it takes up a 9 radius. But don't worry, you can still place here, so it's about the same as a Quinn. Okay, I ripped all those nukies, but don't tell Fish. You won't be watching this video, don't worry. Yeah, if you've been wondering why this screen is moving a lot, it actually follows your camera. So, you can do this and spin if you want. I wonder what other people see. I haven't actually tested that. Oh, they're dead. Okay, here's an accurate representation of what happens if you use Beatrice. Thank you for watching until the end of the video. By the way, did you know that only 19.6% of viewers are actually subscribed to the channel? You should join them. Press the subscribe button right now and leave a like if you enjoy my content, because only 1 out of 1,000 people leave a like on the video. So if you want to join that minority, then go ahead and leave a like and subscribe. Thank you. I'll be out with more Hideaway Hive videos after this. Okay, see ya.